Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is about colorism. The subject we will discuss is how colorism can affect black men. I've seen a lot on social media, especially some black women agreeing that colorism only affects black women, especially dark-skinned black women. But on my channel, I debunk this myths. In my previous videos, I showed how colorism can also affect light-skinned black women and mixed people. Here, this is not a victimization space. My blackness is a gift, not a curse. The first video we will react is to a shot from Daily Rap Up Crew, where a black man with lighter skin explains his experience of being rejected because of his skin tone.
Have you ever been discriminated against by a woman because you're light skinned?
Yes, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be sturdy when I say this. Every female that ever said they don't talk to light-skinned niggas, I got in their ribs.
Okay.
And I mean that.
Okay.
You looking dead in the camera. I want them to see this. I'm dead ass. Every female that's ever said to me, I don't deal with light skins, I don't do light skins.
That's my brother. Shout out to who?
I killed her.
Shout out to who?
Shout out to Sophie. Shout out to Brittany. Shout out to my baby moms. Shout out to the bitch I just left. We keep the list going, but
This guy seems a little upset about being rejected because of his skin color, and I can understand that. Yes, a lot of black women reject men because they are too light. That is discrimination, because even if his colorism, even if this man has lighter skin, he's still black. And when you ask some black women why they reject light skin black men, they say lighter skin is feminine, so lighter skin black men are not masculine enough. You see how they demasculinize them? It's the same process when black men say dark skinned black women are too masculine. They remove their femininity, just like some black women remove the masculinity of lighter skinned black men. The second video is from the content creator Tony Turner. He talks about his experience as a dark-skinned man and what he dealt with regarding colorism during his childhood and teenage years.
Who were the girls that all the guys liked? Who were the guys that all the girls liked? The guys that all the girls had the biggest crushes on were always lighter skin or Latino. The girls that all the guys had a crush on were always a lighter skin or Latino, especially with the long black hair and that certain facial features with the certain eye shapes, and y'all know what I'm talking about. The Latino guys, they always had like the certain haircuts, and some of them might have wore the one earring. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's not to say guys of my complexion or darker didn't get no attention, no love, or girls wasn't crushing on them. But from my perspective, from my memory, it wasn't to the same degree. And I also remember it was this guy, right? He was lighter skinned, he had golden hair, and he had green eyes. And you could tell he was black, but he was just lighter skinned with green eyes. And to some people, I'm not saying all people, but to some people, especially in like the black community and even beyond, that's considered like the genetic jackpot. Like, oh my God, light skin and
This third part is interesting. In middle school, he was around Latino and black people. The beauty standards at that time were Latino boys and lighter skinned black men. But you have to understand that these beauty standards mostly function in the hood. And because black people also allow blackness to be associated with ugliness. First of all, how is it possible that in places where there are many black people, Latinos say the N-word openly and nobody reacts? That shows the lack of self-esteem in the black community at that time. That lack of self-esteem also allowed those beauty standards to exist in the black community, because those light-skinned black men, maybe especially mixed men, will not be beauty standards in white communities. In white communities, beauty standards were or are white men like Justin Bieber, Zac Efron, or Leonardo DiCaprio. Have you ever asked yourself why many mixed people prefer to associate with black people rather than the white side? Because First, they experience racism and are not seen as beautiful in white communities, and they are often treated better in black communities because black people, due to low self-esteem, give privilege to mixed people and also lighter skinned black men. But those privileges only function inside the black community because they are all their self-esteem.
Because he was like light skinned, he had gold hair, he had green eyes, and it was just like, all the girls had a crush on him. And I remember this guy in particular, when the school year started, he was kind of shy and quiet, he didn't really talk. But by the end of the school year, he had this kind of cocky attitude, like, oh, all the girls liked him. So he just had like this, and it's good, eventually as you get older, you evolve, confidence builds up, whatever. But it's funny to see how somebody's personality can change based on the way people perceive them or based on the attention that they get because of how they look. With that, I also think about who were the guys that were the class clowns, always doing something for attention because, they couldn't get it in other ways. And it was always, not always, but most of the time, it was guys of a darker skin tone like mine that were the class clowns doing something so all the girls could laugh or being, telling all the jokes because they didn't get attention in other ways, if you know what I mean. This wasn't the case for every guy with a darker skin tone that I went to school with, but it was.
Yes, it's called pretty privilege. If you are seen as attractive, your life can be easier, and you may access certain privileges. And for dark-skinned men, don't worry, it's not because you are dark-skinned that you won't be seen as attractive. I went to school with several dark-skinned guys who attracted girls. The difference is that we were proud of our blackness. We were not looking for validation or trying to fit into colorist beauty standards. He grew up in an environment where black people struggled with their blackness and that allowed disrespect like Latino saying the N-word and strong colorism. The more blackness is seen negatively, the more people struggle with it.
This wasn't the case for every guy with a darker skin tone that I went to school with, but it was a common one. In most cases, I feel like if you have my skin tone, then most girls just saw you as like regular looking or whatever. It was a few exceptions, but girls just saw you as like regular looking. But then you had to have a certain swag, you had to have a certain haircut, you had to have the one earring in the ear, like the one bling earring, or you had to have the waves and all the different type of stuff to spruce up your look. But I feel like if you were lighter skin or you were like a Latino, I'm talking about light skin Latino, and they were just naturally attracted to you. You didn't have to do much. It was just, they saw you and they liked you. They had a crush on you. Oh, they thought you was cute. But with like a guy like my complexion, it was always like I said, a few exceptions, but some of them had to go the extra mile to get that attention that they didn't naturally get based off their physical appearance. And I'm like, to me, I know it was.
It's mostly about perception. The more you try to fit beauty standards that are not made for you, the more people will find you unattractive, and the more disrespect you will experience. And as we saw earlier, even light-skinned black men are rejected for being too light.
It's like, what else could it have been? Here's another thing, because I know somebody's going to say this in the comments. Attraction can go many different ways. You can think you're the cutest, whatever in the world. People always complimenting you, blah, blah, blah. Somebody in the world won't think that you're attractive. Or you can think that you're not the most attractive person, or you think a lot of people look better than you, or whatever, or you don't get that much attention. But then somebody in the world is going to find you attractive. So the laws of attraction can go in many different directions. It was always easier for the guys of a lighter complexion to get that attention from girls. And it was always easier from the girls of a lighter complexion to get that attention from the guys. And it goes hand in hand. How was y'all experiences in middle school and high school with that? And I know that might not have been y'all experience, but to me, that's what I remember. There's a lot of cute, dark-skinned black girls in my class, but I just don't remember them getting the same attention as the Latina girls with the long black hair, or they might have had like the highlights or whatever. And that's another thing I want to say. When a black woman has an attitude, she's
It might be easier for light-skinned men in black communities where black people don't love their blackness. From what I see, it puts all the blame on being dark-skinned. I'm not saying skin tone doesn't play a role, but the difference between him and other dark-skinned men I knew is that they didn't try to fit into beauty standards. They knew they weren't the standard and set it available, and that didn't stop people from finding them attractive. It's about attitude. They saw dark skin as a gift, not a curse. And logically, their preference was black women, especially dark skinned black women.
Has an attitude. She's known as spicy, a spicy Latina. Oh, spicy mommy. But when a black girl has an attitude, she's a hood rat, or she's just she's an angry, mad black woman, And that's deep rooted in colorism. Colorism can go even deeper to where it's like the stereotypes. Because I'm a dark-skinned black male, you're expected to act a certain way. And stereotypes, you're expected to be aggressive or to listen to certain music or to want to play certain sports. And in high school, middle school, I realized that, I wasn't exactly that type. Like I wasn't overly mean, I wasn't overly aggressive. I had a nice, chill attitude. I can get along with anybody. And at the time for my age, I was well built, so people would say, oh, you can do basketball, football. But practicing it, I realized that basketball and football wasn't for me. In high school, in gym class, I quickly realized that I loved soccer, I loved lacrosse, I loved playing volleyball. And not to say
Society might expect you to act a certain way, but you're not forced to, especially when representations are negative, aggressive, rude, hypersexualized. I'm a dark-skinned woman from a private Catholic school to a school in the hood. People said I had an attitude that I was arrogant, then afraid I was superior just because I wasn't stereotypical. I wore my afro, liked manga, was confident, had a good grades. I got 17 on 20 and 18 on 20 on my final primary exam.
Like if I was playing football or basketball, no problem. But I like volleyball. Are you side-eyeing me? I like to play soccer. Are you side-eyeing me? But if I was Latino and I like to play soccer, it was no problem. You see what I'm saying? So it just goes in many different directions. Just like this hypermasculinity that was expected of a darker skinned black guy. I remember at one of my jobs a few years ago, you know how at the end of the day, you close in your section, the store's closed, you got your own section, you gotta close, make sure the store is neat for the next morning, whatever, right? And at the time when the store's closed, we could play music. So y'all know, I love my 80s, 90s, early 2000s. I love all type of R&B artists, female R&B artists, groups, boy bands, girl band. I remember this particular time I was listening to, I think it was Anita Baker or Mariah Carey.
The hyper-masculinization of black men is a real problem. That's why I love artists like Rema or Mardi. I find them attractive, they fit my beauty standards, and they also show another image of black men. Less hyper-masculinized, less sexualized, less bad boy.
I didn't think that you would like this type of music. Okay, kind of making it like a weird type of thing. But if I was listening to Pop Smoke or 21 Savage, they would have come in here like, hey. But you hear me listening to Mariah Carey, it's like, Tony, you listening to this? Yes. I'm going to get into different examples of colorism and beyond in the media, but going back to what I said in the beginning, this is why now I feel like in this age of social media, I don't want to say it's a trend, but it almost seems like it is a trend of like this appreciation for darker skin. And the attraction that people have now for darker skin, and seeing like darker skin models or actors or musicians that get all this love and affection, basically saying how they're attracted to them in their comments. And I look at this type of stuff because I'm like, wow, back when I was in
we can thank African artists because when Africa started rising and imposing its own beauty standard, and positive representation of dark-skinned people, dark-skinned men and women become more appreciated. I want to react to the war we do, but this short reaction was important to me. As a black woman, it was interesting to read this perspective of black men with lighter skin and darker skin tones. As you can see, black men also experience colorism. It's not only a dark-skinned black woman. One clarification about my channel. This page promotes black beauty standards and no perception of blackness. Blackness is a gift, not a curse. I don't see a difference between a lighter skin and darker skinned black people. That division was created by colonizers to divide us. Where I make a distinction is between black and mixed people, not to exclude, but because erasing the mixed identity removes 50% of our heritage. Identify should be self-defined. Lighter-skinned black people don't need to feel guilty about having privilege. Everyone is born with certain privilege, and that's okay. Promoting dark-skinned beauty does not mean denigrating lighter-skinned black people. And what about albinos? Many experience discrimination inside the black community, even if they face less racism seen no racism outside. This channel is not a victim place and I will never encourage black people, light or dark, to blame all their misfortunes on their blackness. Staying in a victim position helps no one. Your blackness is a gift. That's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe and share it with your friends and family. Thank you to all my subscribers for supporting my work. It's not easy every day, but I keep going because I want black people to be confident in their blackness. I've also started a TikTok account. Feel free to follow. See you in the next video. Choose.